Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ann Miller French with Angelic Hands, and I am here doing today's weekly live. I'm streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. So, hello and welcome to anyone that is new to me and to my holistic wellness practice. I am the owner and founder of Angelic Hands LLC. It's healing for the body, mind, spirit. I specialize in relationship coaching and the healing of the inner child. I wear many different hats. I am an experienced and certified quantum life coach, as well as a Reiki master teacher, quantum energy healer, and a light language healer. And I am an author of a book of poetry, which is available on Amazon. And I am also a highly gifted psychic and a medium. So, do a lot of different things. I connect with clients from various places in the world, and we we get to work. So it's a beautiful space to be in. But I will tell you, holy cow, I really wanted to hop on today and just connect with those those of you or anyone that really needed to hear this message today, as we are still feeling the after effects from the powerful full moon energies that we were immersed in this past weekend. And I really felt it, and there was a lot of stuff that came up to the surface for me. And there were things that I realized that had still um, had to come up and out. So I'm going to teach you a technique that's really helpful for helping you with that. And there's a variety of things for me, but long story short, I knew that I was working through some grief, and this tied back to some ancestral patterns that I carried on from my ancestors, patterns that I came here to work through and break the cycle, if you will. And also, um, just different things like looking at having that visit again and looking at the things that I didn't clear from the last cycle and the cycle before that. And no joke, it's work. I always say that healing can be messy and it requires your participation in the process. But when you make that commitment and dedication to you and make yourself a priority, you will see the shifts, you will see the results. And I will tell you that I did notice that there were some major shifts that I went through once I exited out of it, but going through it, not so fun, but it was very necessary. And a lot of what I do, a lot of what I experience, I share with my clients. So, um, the grief that I'm talking about, it was, sadness, different forms of loss that I went through in my life, and really grieving that and having a conversation with my inner child. So, the inner child is the part of us that loves to play, that loves create, loves the experience, the adventure. It's the little girl, the little boy inside of us that wants to feel loved, safe, know that they're seen and heard, and believes in magic and miracles. And then there is the part of us known as the ego, which is also known as the ghosted inner child, the wounded inner child. That's the part of us that formed based out of woundings and traumas. And like we built this protective alter identity to protect the inner child. And a lot of times our ego can come in and sabotage different parts of our relationships, different parts of our life, can also be very destructive. And the intention was always for that part of us to do its job and to protect the inner child from going through any more hurt, any more heartbreak, any more loss, any more trauma, especially after, uh, growing up through different traumas and triggers. If you think back to your early childhood and then, you know, especially the first 7 years of your life, and if you experience loss of any kind or humiliation, shame, guilt. There's a lot more things, or the different types of traumas. There could be domestic abuse. There could be sexual abuse. Just it's really based on what upbringing you had and different things that you experienced that really wired these things, and how our body responds to different things. So when there's a trigger reacting to, like taking you back to the scene of the crime where you feel like you're going through the experience again, and then you have the voice of the ego, the action of the ego, where you hear that voice in your head. So I will say that with the ascension journey that each and every one of us is on, no part of us gets left behind. The inner child goes with us, our ego goes with us, and our higher self, that's the part of us that's the all-knowing, that's connected to source. And when you really feel your inner guidance, it's like following your truth and moving forward on different things. So I had a conversation this morning and interviewed my inner child. I also interviewed my ego and let them speak. I gave them a voice. So this is a technique that I was being guided to share with you today, and really look in on whatever emotions are still stirring up. I mean, with these full moons, they're really big on getting things stirred up and bringing things to our attention. And if there's something that still has to be worked through, or um, something that still feels heavy or feels like a roadblock. So the technique that I'm talking about, I'm just going to call this purge writing, because it pretty much is purging of emotions. So if you were to take your favorite journal, a piece of paper, take a pen. I use a blue pen. Blue is associated with, the color of truth. If you think about the throat chakra, that's blue. So took my pen and had an interview and allowed my inner child to speak. I allowed my little girl to speak. I also allowed that wounded part of me, my ego, to speak, gave them a voice, let them, say what they needed to say. And no matter what comes out, write it down. I know that for so long, so many of us were told and hardwired and programmed to believe that, no, you shouldn't think like that. You shouldn't say things like that. You shouldn't act like that. Well, we need to sit with it. Otherwise, we're bypassing what's coming up. So if there's anger that's coming up, there's sadness that's coming up, let that part of you speak, and um, give it a voice, write it down. And once you start writing, there is just that flow. And I still feel emotions from this. I took some time for me today. I went and did some infrared therapy in the sauna, and that light therapy is so very powerful just to help balance things out, because for the past couple of days I was like, whoa, okay, this is another deep layer. And when you are ready, and through your willingness to participate in the process, you will find that things will they'll start to work their way out. So what I excuse me, I'm going to get some water here. Just one second. So anybody that's just hopping on with me, hello, welcome. If you want to drop a quick hello in the queue, it's always nice to see who's joining me. Um, so anyway, the purge writing that I'm talking about, just giving yourself a voice and taking that pen and just allowing those words to come up, even if it looks like ugly words to you or ugliness coming out of your system, good. Sit with that. If you feel like crying, that's good. Give yourself permission to feel, allow yourself to express and to get it up. I mean, it's working that stuff up, working it out. What I find is that when I'm working through different things or different emotions are coming to the surface, I love to do, like I said, what I call the purge writing, getting it down on paper, and then I will take whatever it is that came out, and then if you have a fire pit outside, you can burn it. It's just symbolic of letting it go. Or I take mine through paper shredder, or throw it in the fireplace, whatever that looks like for you, or rip it up into a gazillion pieces. And then the next part is I am definitely doing some release work in my throat, so bear with me. Okay, so then what do you do with this space that you've created? And you get this up, you get this out, and you look at it, transform it, transmute it. So the next step that I did, and again, it's going to be different for everyone, but I have really noticed that when I'm working through something, that's when, and I give myself to go there, like to work in that space, do that shadow work, go through the dark night of the soul, um, work through the grief, the sadness, the anger, whatever that looks like. And then I will focus my attentions on something constructive versus going into actions that are destructive and going into just not a very good place. And I will tell you that I've been there more times than I care to admit, but I'm human. I have emotions. I'm a person, and I'm a work in process. And there's things that I still work through each and every day. And that's a big part of this journey, is to, be here and to work through these different things, work through the layers. So I channel um, whatever I'm feeling, or my depression or sadness or my anger, then I will channel it into, like, make something from it. So I'll draw a picture, I'll channel light language, I'll speak like language, I'll write a poem, um, I'll draw a picture, just whatever I'm guided to do. Sometimes it's singing, knowing that every cell in your body is responding to what you're saying, what you're believing. So it's really being aware of how I'm channeling that energy to transmute it, to allow it to change form. And when I wrote my first book of poetry, From Heart to Pen to Paper, that was a big part of it, as I was working through the grief that was coming up out of my body, working through all the different emotions. I was then channeling that and into poetry, and then sharing that gift with the world and connecting with others. So I just wanted to share that with you today. I'm going to keep this a bit short and sweet because, like I said, I'm still working on something with my throat. But um, I hope that this helps. It was just something that I found very effective for me. So taking that time, having that interview with that part of yourself, and feeling lighter in the process, and allowing yourself to, I always say, allow yourself to go there and to feel it. And it takes courage, but each and every one of us has the means and the capacity to do this work. It's taking that time for you. And a big part of what I do as a quantum life coach is I work one on one with my clients. And a lot of my clients I work with each week, once a week. And we're building on different things that they're working with. So if they're working on anything surrounding time, money, health, relationships, career changes, working on their life's path, their mission, the ascension journey, understanding their awakening process, working through those dark nights of the soul, working through the shadow work. I'm acting as a mirror and holding space and helping to identify those energetic blind spots, things that they may be missing. And I'm learning in the process. It's a beautiful exchange of energies. And if you're in that space where you're starting to look at things and trying to get a better understanding of, even asking yourself the question, where do I have walls around my heart, energetic walls around my heart, where I'm holding myself back from great love? It truly starts from within, being able to love yourself and knowing that what's going on inside is we're seeing a reflection of that outside of us. We are literally creating everything inside of us. So I know that there's so much going on in the world right now. There's question marks. There's people with not knowing what their next steps are, or uncertainty as far as how things are going to unfold. But the best thing that you can do is start with you, make peace with you, make peace what's going on inside of you, and take those steps, follow where you're being guided. So if that's reaching out for some quantum life coaching, if it's working with some energy healing, if it's you know looking at getting some guidance with a psychic reading, or if you want to connect with loved ones, having a medium reading, it's really taking that time for you and honor the part of you that's trying to get your attention. And that's the space that we're ultimately all trying to work towards, is to get back to that space of inner peace. When your heart is at peace, you'll find that everything around you just flows, things just click. Then what once seemed like a wall around your heart or a roadblock, things just start to open up. And what appears used to appear as closed doors, now you have these open doors of opportunities, different things that are coming through for you. So I can tell you firsthand, I see those different things as I continue to even work through my own journey. So I just wanted to share this with you. I hope that you have an amazing week. And as things come up, I will be sharing them with you here on Facebook and on YouTube. So have a beautiful week, and thank you. Talk to you soon. Oh, you're welcome, Nikki. Yeah, a lot going on. This, coming out of this full moon energy, and then with all of the upgrades, energetic upgrades that everybody is receiving, all these light codes that are coming in, it can be a bit intense. So, what I can share with you, Nikki, is to continue to ground your energy and just really make that heartfelt connection, and take that deep breath in, take that, and then exhale the breath out. And just take that time. If you feel like you need some time and space, that's okay. It's totally okay. Sometimes we need to do that, depending on what season we're in. If we're in season of contraction, where we're doing that deep inner work and we're working to bring those fragments of our soul home in a safe environment, or are we in an expansion season where we're out there and continuing to be of service, helping others and leading by example? So just I can definitely hear you and see you. So take care. Thank you.